Hobbit Lane. Thank
We
you.
got you.
I'm sorry.
We got you.
Okay. So I have a lot of my feelings, I'm gonna try to put those aside and just stick to the facts. I went on your website and I didn't see really anything that showed a lot of ALS activity. And I know you said you haven't gotten that up and running, that portion of your service. And I know that you have a doctorate in psychology, so you can understand our anxiety for having the potential to change from something very solid that we have to your agency. So I have a couple of questions, and back to the ALS medic. When would you, when do you propose? I work for the state. Things don't happen in 3 weeks. So
tell me about it.
So my concern would be your time frame, getting a medic on board. And I'm not saying, I don't even know what the time frame would be that you would be here. But hypothetically, if you were up and running, say, in September, how many medics would you have on your roster? How many EMTs? How many trucks at one time? We don't need standbys. I used to do those when I was an EMT for a service that covered 6 different communities. Very professional service. I mean, we looked the part, we acted the part, we drove the part, and we spoke to the community to represent a very fine organization. And I feel like Serums does that at their WIPIO events. They're all recommended and required to have an ambulance at the football games and such. So that part is already being taken care of again. We need, like off the bat, an ALS ambulance to respond to this township. We have an aging population. We have people with health issues. We have, in my opinion, some mental health issues, and people need to be transported with medication, with IVs started, that kind of thing, right off the bat. The background that I'm hearing is mostly transports. And while that's a good thing for a service, I understand that might make you some money. We're not really engaging with a lot of oomph and gusto to have transports to and from the hospitals.
No, let me clarify that. So the,
Electrocuted over there. Just speak up, please.
Okay.
so let me clarify.
Well, let me just finish, so then I can sit down and let you talk, I'm sorry. Your source of revenue
Can you
currently,
speak louder since the mic went out?
your source of revenue currently is, how are your funds generated for your service right now? Are you actually responding to calls right now?
We do not respond to any 911 calls at this.
Okay, but you would be responding to calls, obviously,
911 calls here within Union Township, that's correct.
24/7.
Correct.
Now, when you were pushing in on their territory on Guildhall,
Let me clarify, we weren't pushing in.
when they accepted and allowed you space there to respond,
No, we were renting space to house our ambulance.
okay, but nobody was actually going on calls at the time?
They would go on the calls, they would go on the assignments that they would be given, whether they were transports or standbys.
Okay, but they weren't
We had,
medical calls.
they were not 911 calls.
Okay.
We had no intention of doing 911 calls in Southeast Regional's area.
Okay.
They came after us.
How many board members are there for your service?
Right now there are 3.
Are you one of the board members?
I am.
Okay, and who are the other 2? Are they professionals? What are their backgrounds?
So one is a finance person, he's the treasurer, kind of makes sense, right? And the other is the secretary who handles the administrative stuff.
Okay, so if you have a complaint with personnel, how is that handled?
So the complaint, depending on if it's a interpersonal issue or if it's a medical issue, depends on how it's handled. If it's a patient care issue, that first gets reviewed by me. If I have questions about it, I then go to our medical director to review the case, and then the medical director makes a determination of what, if anything, needs to be done.
And you're a paramedic,
I am.
nationally registered,
I am.
so you would understand some of the issues that happen on calls.
Oh, I've been
And-
I've worked for many 911 services. Can't
Okay.
say that I've seen it all because things continue to surprise me, but I've seen many of the things.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.